an F cake as a grade earlier in the show. A little bit of a comeback, so Dak's stat lines look better than they probably are. Here he is post-game.
We know what it takes in this league. You get hot, you can get rolling, and that's all you're looking to do. So that's my point about this is frustrating, but nobody's giving up. Nobody's been as shook as you can say from where we're at. We just got to focus up, get ready to go on the road, and got another good team coming up, and do whatever we can to make sure we come out of victory, get even, and then we'll worry about after that.
Okay, 3-4, Brew. Any reason to still believe?
If you're looking for a reason to be optimistic, the only one I can see is you can say, well, when we get Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence back.
Yep.
Here's the problem, though. Micah and D'Lo played 4 games. Micah had 1 sack and 2 tackles for losses. DeMarcus Lawrence had 1 sack and 1 tackle for a loss over his last 3 games. He played well against Cleveland. And those 2 were both on the field for the debacle against New Orleans and getting down 28-6 against Baltimore. So even with those 2 great defensive players, their defense still was poor. Those 2 guys obviously aren't going to run the football, so it's not going to help your run game any. And then Dak, everybody knows he's throwing it, and here's the result of it. His passer rating is the worst of his career. TD percentage, worst of his career. Interception percentage, completion percentage, yards per attempt, all second worst. He is having probably the worst season of his career.
I don't think there's any probably about it. Yeah.
So there you go. And a lot, look, Dak, I used to say when Dak first few years and he's having success, I used to say he's a game manager who can make big plays. A lot of game managers don't make the big plays. He's a game manager that can make big plays with his arm and his legs. Well, now he doesn't make those big plays, not with his legs anymore for sure, but even with his arm, I mean, he's become an interception machine. He's got 2 interceptions in each of his last 3 games. So with that combined with the schedule, next 4 games, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Houston, Washington, all of those guys are playing better than the Cowboys. No, I see they're done. They're done.
And with Dak, he's getting paid like a guy who can carry the team, but he's never really been a guy that can carry the team. And now you add in what CD's getting paid, and CD's outstanding, but collectively they can't carry this offense and they can't carry this team. And when you look at Dak's history, he's always been at his best when he's had a consistent, solid running game, and they don't have that now. So they're going to be behind the 8 ball the rest of the season. I will give them a lot of credit yesterday. I thought the fact that they fought back the way that they did, being in the hole that they were, and they actually had a chance to win the game at the end of that game with as many things that went wrong, that's very different than the Cowboys than we've seen.
I agree, but weren't you then disheartened by Dak playing some of his worst football of the whole game on that drive? The very first play, throwing into triple coverage. I think it would have been picked off by Lenore, but Fred Warner got his hand on it first, right? And then, missing. I understand the pass down the sideline was actually a great pass on 3rd down, but you're throwing a 35-yard pass to a 5'8" guy like that's, you know what I mean? Not your even close to your #1 receiver. So it was a great pass. I don't know if I love the decision, and then it's 4th down and you're going home.
Yeah, that was disheartening. But the way that they fought back.
But isn't that what they do, Coach?
I know.
I mean, Baltimore, they did it. We've seen Dak in the past.
They didn't against
when they get down big.
We've also seen them fold up in ways where
they do both.
Where it's really disappointing. So they haven't quit on themselves. They haven't quit. I didn't get any sense of quit yesterday. And with Micah and coming back, regardless of his production early on, that you're still getting a very good football player back. So that helps.
So I buy
with DeMarcus.
I buy if they get healthier, they'll be better. The running game obviously is it's historically bad at this point at 74 yards. It's one of the fewest rushing yards per game in the last 15 years, but that's not what I want to get into. You know me, king of vibes. I'm always checking the pulse of teams. Are you a championship team? Are you stressed out? Are you saying, you know what, we're going to take this loss in stride? Here's the friction post game that starts at the start of the second half. It's Brock to Kittle.
That whole play, that's
and then, all right, that was the play. And then Dallas Sports Anchor.
You can't do nothing that I do. You can't go out there and do nothing. Stay in your lane, buddy. Stop playing with me, bro. Just asking a question, Trayvon. I mean, I'm happy to have you answer the question.
Question out of that whole play, that's what you took for that? That's what you got from that? That's what you got from that?
Okay, so the play was a play from Brock to Kittle. Trayvon didn't look like he was, through Mike Leslie's eyes.
Trayvon's 7 at the top of the screen. And he asked, what's Trayvon doing on this play, is what he tweets.
Yeah, and Trayvon took exception to that right after the game. It seems like an unconventional way to deal with the media. What was your take, Nick?
Well, I think it's, I don't really care when people yell at the media. I'm just going to say that on the front end. Like, in general, I think that the media needs to have thicker skin. I think in general. I do care that before you've even taken your jersey off, you're searching your phone.
Like you saw
you're
that
searching your mentions, or you're searching your name. To me, again, it wasn't a nasty enough or pointed enough tweet to where I assume, oh man, a bunch of my friends texted me, can you see what this guy said about you? It didn't say, you know what I mean? So I think it was, all right, we just lost, but what are people saying about me? And then it pissed you off enough that you went out there to yell at him, which just seems immature. And so, like, I think there is a time and a place for athletes to be like, hey, media, you guys are always evaluating my job performance. I'm going to evaluate yours. I'm actually totally fine with that. I agree with you, though, that to me is a sign of a team that is not necessarily focused on the right things. I agree with that entirely, that quickly, after that type of loss, you're searching Twitter to see what was said.
But now, you call me the old man on the set, and I know Brew has gotten
Brew's actually the old man.
A little bit older today.
But I feel like younger kids, everything is based off of mentions and comment. That's the world they grew up in. So for him to check that, I don't think that's actually out of the norm for a lot of kids that are growing up in.
That was really quick for him to know that.
I understand that, but isn't that the world we live in now, where we're in that space? Now, for him to get mad like he did right after the game and to go challenge the reporter, that's a little bit of a function of what's coming top down.
There you go.
When the owner is challenging reporters because he doesn't like what's being said, it's like, what type of behavior are you modeling for the rest of the organization? It's okay to attack media members. What do they have to do with how you play? Like, if you don't like what they're saying, then change your performance.
All right, let's head out to Las Vegas, check in on the undefeated Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. Welcome back to the show. Commanders win on a prayer from Jaden Daniels in a battle, quotations, air quotes, of two rookie quarterbacks. Lots going wrong here, including Tyreek Stevenson more interested in the fans than the ball until he gets too interested in the ball and tips it to Noah Brown. That ends the game. Now, after the game, he took to Twitter and said to Chicago and teammates, my apologies, lack of awareness and focus, game's not over till zeros. I can't take anything for granted. Notes taken, improvement will happen. So that's good.
It's after skipping out on the media and getting a personal foul earlier in the game and general clown-like behavior.
Yikes.
I mean, it was. I mean, he didn't talk to me. I mean, it was ludicrous what happened, and it was the single most important play of this NFL season.
Just strategically,
And he was
not talking to the media is a savvy move there.
Okay,
he was doing the same thing on the play before, where they allowed the out pattern to get close enough for the Hail Mary. He was doing the same thing.
All right, your biggest takeaway here.
Listen, great job by Jaden. Jaden has a broken rib or bruised rib or something, and
Because he's so slight.
Yes, correct. That's exactly right, Coach.
He can't play through pain.
He's more likely to get hurt, but if you are more likely to get hurt, seeing that you can play through pain is important.
Yeah.
And Washington moved the ball up and down the field, but had to keep settling for field goals, and then they were going to lose. I mean, and now they would have been tied with Philly in a dogfight, and the Bears would have been in great shape. Now the Bears are in last place. They're a game clear, and it's because of that play. Because the story could have been that despite, we can show you, we can show the play, but also since Wilds wants to make this, the Caleb Trash Hour, since Trevor's not in the discussion right now, he played very, very poorly and nervous for the bulk of this game, and then the final two drives was excellent. Yeah. One drive, they should have taken the lead, but they were like, hey, let's hand the ball off to our backup center.
I wanted.
And then the next drive, they did score, and that would have been the story. And it would have been a real Rookie of the Year race, even though the stats would have been different because of what happened. But instead, they lose an unforgivable loss, just an unforgivable loss. Jaden deserves a ton of credit.
It's pretty great that they play the whole game, huh?
Yeah.
not just those drives where he has bad.
Yeah, well,
That's pretty good the way that works out. And the thing that's been so good about Jaden Daniels, is similar to C.J. Stroud, is he's changed the whole complexion of the organization.
Yep.
When you've got a young player like that, that's not only talented but has that type of work ethic, maturity, who gets an injury, figures out a way to practice on Friday, and then